So, hi everyone. My name is Catherine Savard from Veolia, and I'm going to present Santiago Deseado, a 3D tool that we developed. So maybe if I could have the slides, it would be great. If you don't mind to wait a little bit. Okay, so first of all, a few facts maybe on figures about Veolia. Veolia Group, as you heard probably before, is a global leader in optimized resource management. We have around 180,000 employees around the world, and the group designs and provides water, waste, and energy management solutions that contribute to the sustainable development of communities and industries. I won't go into all these figures because we are running out of time, I think. As you can see, the group recorded last year a consolidated revenue of 22.3 billion with activities all around the world. So, since its beginning in 1853, Veolia has always been a strong partner for cities. And today we still help cities improve their performance by managing more efficiency, large and complex public services, including drinking water, wastewater, waste collection and recovery, and also heating and cooling networks. We also provide cities with consulting in urban development and territorial strategies through Veolia's dedicated entity, 2EI. So the 3D simulator that we developed last year is one example of an innovative project that we developed to promote a more sustainable approach for cities. It is also a very good example of a fruitful partnership between French key players of cities that promote a more collaborative and constructive way of designing and operating cities. The opportunity was given by the French Ministry of Foreign Trade, who funded a project aiming at developing sort of prototype of a shared sustainable urban development approach on a 3D simulator applied on a real case on Santiago de Chile. The aim was to allow a promotion of products, services, and technological products, French solutions, through a real decision support tool. And the new thing was it had to be in 3D to give a more visual aspect and a more communicative approach. So we did this project with several partners. So we had two architects, urban planners, which were AS Architecture Studio and Arte Charpentier. We had a 3D company called Cyrradel and Artelia, an engineering firm. We also had the support of Vinci, which is a civil work contractor. So this 3D simulator was applied on a real case in Santiago, as I said before, and the mayor, which is Carolina Toa, wanted us to really study the global issue of the Pan America motorway that you can see here on the slide. This motorway really crosses the city in the middle and creates strong inequalities between the west and the east of the city. So she really needed a strong and objective assessment of the state of the city to really create a starting point of a new urban strategy that could take into account all the all the stakes and a tool that could build a real shared ambition and a real shared vision of the city. So this collaborative approach was made with the team, with the consortium, and Carolina's Toa's team. And we had a lot of meetings and work, together to create a strong approach and to build this project. That was how we designed this shared vision. It was also with the public services at different levels, local, regional, and governmental, and also with the private sector. So this was really an opportunity to bring together all those key players and to build this vision that would allow the mayor to present this project of a new Santiago with this urban development project. So what I can do now is to show you a short video that will explain everything.
Alors, notre groupement a développé une plateforme numérique en 3 dimensions pour la ville de Santiago. Il s'appelle Santiago Deseado.
Ce simulateur permet d'intégrer de multiples regards qui permettent de fonder une politique en matière de ville durable. Ça commence par un diagnostic de la situation de la ville, on a appelé SCAN. Ça permet également de construire des projets urbains auxquels on intègre toutes les solutions innovantes en matière technique, environnementale, et ça va jusqu'à un catalogue de l'offre française qui permet de les réaliser.
En fait, la moitié du temps dédié à la conception de cet outil s'est déroulé à Santiago avec les acteurs politiques et techniques locaux, mais aussi avec les futurs utilisateurs de la ville. Résultat, Santiago Deseado est un outil qui intègre de la même façon une vision globale des objectifs et aussi des axes particuliers techniques et géographiques ciblés.
Les citoyens ont besoin de comprendre les performances de la ville et connaître les sujets sur lesquels agir en priorité. Le simulateur propose une balade interactive dans la maquette 3D de Santiago pour balayer l'ensemble des caractéristiques de la ville d'hier et d'aujourd'hui et permet d'avoir tous les éléments pour construire une politique urbaine, inclusive et durable.
11 clés de la ville durable structurent ce parcours, ouvrant les portes culturelles, économiques, sociales, environnementales qui révèlent la cité.
70 indicateurs diagnostiquent les performances de Santiago et permettent de les comparer à d'autres villes. Ils composent ainsi une base de données qui aura vocation à s'enrichir pour constituer un benchmark mondial sur la ville.
Este es un proyecto soñado por la ciudad de Santiago por muchos años, pero nunca lo habíamos visto con los ojos que lo vemos hoy, con una mirada de todos los impactos positivos que podríamos lograr, ambientales, patrimoniales, culturales, económicos, turísticos. Si hiciéramos esta tarea de cubrir la autopista norte-sur y generar un parque urbano ahí. El equipo fue extremadamente empático con también nuestro equipo municipal, abierto, con una capacidad y disposición a absorber toda esta información y a hacerse parte de, en realidad, una reflexión que tenemos como ciudad en muy poco tiempo. En un año ya lo sentíamos como parte de nuestro equipo municipal y quedamos muy agradecidos y muy contentos de lo que eso nos ha significado para hacer posible y darle viabilidad a esta iniciativa que estamos convencidos que Santiago tiene que hacer.
Le résultat du scan permet d'envisager une stratégie urbaine intégrée. À Santiago, Carolina Toa a choisi d'appliquer les simulateurs sur la couverture de l'autoroute urbaine, qui a découpé la ville en deux, en produisant des fractures sociales et économiques sur la ville. À partir des stratégies développées, les simulateurs permettent de visiter les différents scénarios d'aménagement urbain pour établir une comparaison et évaluer leur impact.
Le simulateur va plus loin puisqu'il permet de présenter au cœur même du projet urbain des solutions innovantes en matière d'infrastructures, de services, d'équipements qui permettent d'améliorer le fonctionnement de la ville, son exploitation et de manière plus générale son cadre de vie.
C'est un véritable showroom de l'offre française qui a été collecté à travers un site internet ouvert à tous. Le simulateur associe différents métiers de la ville autour d'un contexte partagé. Il permet ainsi une concertation assidue entre les acteurs locaux, de manière à construire le Santiago désiré de tous.
Santiago Deseado est une véritable prouesse technologique. Nous avons produit des millions de fichiers de données 3D. Nous avons combiné ces informations pour l'ensemble des acteurs. Nous avons visualisé en temps réel toutes ces informations pour faire valoir les solutions françaises de la ville durable. Le tout pour une expérience aussi ludique qu'instructive pour tous les acteurs, que ce soit les politiques, les urbanistes, les ingénieurs et les citoyens.
Ce qui est génial avec ce simulateur, c'est que pour la première fois, des étapes de la ville durable très différentes sont mises en connivence, comme la compréhension des enjeux avec un diagnostic, la comparaison des villes entre elles, la formalisation des projets urbains et leurs évaluations, la mise en évidence, en fin de compte, de toutes les optimisations urbaines que l'on peut proposer, et jusque donc au catalogue des entreprises qui peuvent répondre à ces besoins. Avec le simulateur Santiago Deseado, dès maintenant, l'ensemble des villes du monde disposent à la fois d'une méthode et d'une offre pour des villes sobres, efficaces et agréables.
Good afternoon. My name is Eric. I'm Deputy Director of 2EI, working with Catherine on the project. As you heard, Carolina Toa, the mayor of Santiago, it took us 1 year to work on this 3-day demonstrator. We'll have only 2 minutes to show you a few example, practical example. What I wanted to show you is how this tool has become, has provided a real assistance to the decision maker. So first, the first thing was to have the initial assessment. We've had around 70 indicators built within a referential that were co-constructed with the city. And what is important is that suddenly different services that were used to work by themselves were sharing information, and we're looking at they know their city much better than we can do, but they suddenly saw their city differently on an economically aspect, but also socially and environmentally. So you can see some example, and it is as diverse as the first one is transport, the second is access to green areas in the city. The other is the education level within the city. You've got urban heat island, you've got heritage buildings, you've got a solar potential of the project area. So you see that the simulator, the demonstrator, 3D, was a way to show on a global approach all the result of previous studies, but also to compute new indicators. And this is the density population indicator. We have to confirm the intuition of the municipality. Their intuition was clearly that the highway was splitting the city in two. What they had not considered is that there is an east-west problem, but there is also a north-south problem on other indicators. This is interaction with the urbanists and the municipality to show. You see in yellow the current regulation and the construction capability on Santiago. And you've seen that we've done some benchmark, and you can see in the demonstrator the result of that benchmark. Santiago is high densified city compared to Buenos Aires or compared to other cities in Europe. It's less dense than Paris, but here you see that there is a potential to construct around the highway. So if we transform the highway, if we cover the highway and transform it in an attractive way, there is a potential to bring people and so finance and to bring solution to the project. But also densification. We've heard it just before. Densification creates new needs, but also new technical solution. If you had a dense area, then network becomes an option for district cooling, heating, or waste collection, and so on. This is, I'll go very quick. This is the energy consumption in Santiago. It sounds very good because they've got, on average, less than, for the buildings, less than 100 kilowatts per square meter. But in fact, it's the only reason is that they don't, the energy is too expensive. So they accept during winter to have no heat. And what we try to simulate with the document is to say, well, if ever there is some densification, there will be a higher energy requirement. We can suppose that people will require more comfort. And so what the dialogue with the municipality and with the urbanists was around what happened if we suddenly cover the highway, what will be the need. And on the right side, you see the opportunity that new solutions, innovative solutions with regard to energy bring to the project. Sorry, I will skip that one. So basically, with the municipality, we shared a new vision of their city. With the urbanists, we exchanged so that they worked on different scenarios, and each time we tried to assist them in evaluating the impact of their scenarios. Initially, there was more than 10 scenarios. Mainly, the difference were mainly organized around mobility options. And at the end, what we delivered to the municipality, there are only 2 scenarios. And basically, these scenarios require some ambitious objectives. And to deliver, then you need ambitious, innovative solutions, performance solutions. And so that the second objective of the tool that we've delivered to the municipality of Santiago, but also to the French government, is to provide a catalog of adapted solution, pertinent solution, efficient solution. So we provided 100 of generic solution, which sort of the best practice in terms of sustainable urban development, of course pertinent to the strategy and the need of Santiago de Chile. So you see, this could be for infrastructure, for buildings, for the other one is waste collection, or just the mobility for the people. Each solution basically is detailed as far as what is the benefit, basically, but also what is the impact on all the different indicators that we had presented in the assessment phase. So there is such an information anyway. So Santiago Deseado 3D was a tool that was utilized for a year with an urban project team to dialogue with the municipality, with the urbanist, with the engineers, and to provide first an assessment, a strategy, but also solutions. And now it will be used by Business France to promote which solution the French industry, as far as the sustainable urban development is concerned, can propose to the municipalities. I thank you.
Who's next?
Can you, yeah, you can hear me. Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for being here. It's an honor for us to present our 3D demonstrator. So, same process was applied. I mean, we won a tender from the French government, and the team, the company team consisting of Eiffage as a consortium leader, Aegis and Engie, built this demonstrator, 3D demonstrator, which was aiming at showing the French knowledge at all levels, which means from very large companies to small, even research companies on the sustainable cities. So we were told to address the issues regarding the city of Astana. Astana is the capital of Kazakhstan. It is the youngest capital city in the world because the president has decided in 1998 to move his city from Almaty to Astana. And it's not a very pleasant city to live in, but because temperature goes from -40 in winter to +40 in summer. So all the solutions which have been incorporated, 350 solutions which have been incorporated in the demonstrator, which Jean-Michel from Aegis is going to show you, are solutions which are able to withstand such a temperature amplitude, I mean from -40 to +40. So there are 3 levels, as you will see, there are 3 levels in this demonstrator. One is strategic, second is thematic, and the third one is an immersive level. And you really, as a pedestrian, you walk inside the city. We have been covering 720 square kilometers, which is 7 times the superficie of Paris, which is quite significant. And we're focused on 7 different places. So this is, as you can see, this is the city of Astana. So Jean-Michel is going to present to you, this is a strategic scale. We work together with a small company called Enodo, who is and who helped us with a 3D tool, the same one which is used in computer games. If you have children, and they certainly have asked you to buy them joysticks. So we need, Jean-Michel is actually using a joystick to move into this tool. So while he's getting things ready, basically what we did, we addressed 4 main issues relating to sustainable cities. And those issues are mobility, energy, environment, and building. And for these 4 topics, we elaborated scenarios ranging from today till 2030. As some of you may know, Astana will be hosting the next year the international exhibition called The Energy of the Future. And this is one of the reasons why we were told to select Astana, because it was, before the collapse of oil prices, a country with a lot of money. When at the end of the competition, there were only Astana and Liège competing for this international exhibition. And obviously at the time, Astana was much richer. And they got the competition. And also because it's really a city in an emerging countries, which is, though it is very, very new, already, having all the problems of emerging cities in emerging countries. So here you see this scenario which was elaborated regarding energy. Surprisingly enough, there is no gas arriving in Astana. So Astana is today 100% powered by coal-fired power plants. You can imagine what kind of pollution and CO2 emissions it means. So there are 3 coal-fired power plants, and from between today and 2030, using the potential of the territory, which really this is actually what can be done with this territory, we go from 100% coal-fired power plants to 70% coal-fired, clean coal. In the meantime, we close 2 coal-fired power plants, and the third one is being, we clean the fumes and we have much less polluting coal. We bring in geothermal, wind and solar power, and also gas. So this is, as you would understand, for the decision makers in the city, the mayor, the governors, all the stakeholders, this is some kind of a decision-making tool. We tell them, okay, this is your city today, this is what you could achieve by 2030. This is a step-by-step process. And you find out all the technologies which are being addressed in this tool. So this is the second level, thematic level. So we focused on several spots in the city. Jean-Michel is going to show you one, which is an island, which is completely autonomous in terms of energy needs. And this is an island where we've put together, which is autonomous in terms of energy demand, which is autonomous in terms of food demand. And so we have, you will see, there are some plants which are being operated during the day, and at night we recoup the energy. There are some greenhouses which are being heated by the heat which comes out of the industrial processes. People live there, and the houses are being heated with the same energy as the one which was produced during the day. And today this is an island on which there is absolutely nothing. And again, this has been elaborated as a proposal to the city of Astana, to the mayor of Astana. And you will see the various electricity and heat grids. It's an introduction of mini grids and larger grids. Okay, this is what you have here. And so what we have been doing when we were having those workshops, each time the leaders of the workshops were asking for a solution, we were having on the computer platform, we were having a question raised to all the members of the consortium, and all those who had solutions, who could comply, were compliant with the needs, they would put their solutions on the platform. And for example, here you can see this is one company, this is the description of the solution, and you have also the presentation of the company. And if you look at the bottom right, okay, this is the island on Ishim. And if you look at the bottom left of something called a solution, so if the mayor is interested in solution which is being presented, he tells us, and then it is being put on a USB key. So basically he can do his shopping with whatever solution he's interested in. Okay, here now we're coming to the immersive level. As a pedestrian, you walk inside something which was developed, which was a transportation hub, which has been proposed. And it is a combination of only green transportation means. You will have cable, you will have metro, you will have clean buses. BRT and so forth. And as a pedestrian, you walk in here. And you will see, sometimes you will have a little eye showing, and then when you click on this eye, then you have the solution which answers one specific question. So this is a multimodal hub which has been, again, developed to answer, because in Astana already you have, it's only 700,000 people, but you have already awful traffic jams. It may take 2 hours to go from one place to another. So you see those letter I appearing here. Then this is how you close, for example, and you have the company names. And as you can see, you're really in immersive 3D environment. You're going to climb up. And okay, this tool, it was an order from the French government. It has been it is at the disposal now of all French embassies all over the world. And it was presented, last week of August. All the French ambassadors have so-called summer university, if I may say so. They come for 1 week in Paris. And that was presented to them. And 2 weeks ago, we had the same rehearsal, if I may say so, with the Ministry of Finance, and all the economic advisors, counselors from the French embassies, they were there, and they had one workshop on sustainable city, and they were presented this tool as well. So they all know how to use it. And we're really moving inside this multimodal hub as a pedestrian. And okay, this is something which this is a tool developed by us and the Suez, which enables you to organize water, waste, transportation, mobility within the city, to make forecasts, etc. So, of course, each of the three of us, Eiffage was leading the construction, the building workshop. As NG, we led the energy workshop, and Aegis took care of the mobility. And Suez Environment, now the Suez, took care of the water and waste issues. But what was very interesting is that all workshops, they work separately, and they would meet once a month to compare solutions, to discuss with each other. Being understood, for example, if you get the heat from waste incineration, that will definitely have an impact on your energy requirements. So as soon as you make a decision, to take a solution, it has consequences on the other workshops. So this has been very, very positive issue, and any decision, anything which is being here, has been done according to the consequences on the other solutions as well, on the other topics. And for example, as well, okay, this is some sort of the Champs-Élysées in Astana. And here you can see green mobility solutions. And what is interesting as well, you see some trees. And for you to know, up until now, where they were planting trees and flowers every year, and the next year, and those plants and flowers, they were dying during winter, and so they had to plant them again. we have been working in close cooperation with the Astana Agricultural Institute. So all the vegetation which is showed here, should that be trees and flowers, etc., they can withstand, again, this huge climate range. And they will not die during the during the winter. And they will not also die of drought during summer. And we have been, we'll see it later. Okay, here you are in one of the this is something very interesting as well. Here we take the heat from wastewater, and we use it well, I would say to bring some warmth to this place where you wait for the bus. And Suez had developed such a solution. If you go to in a city next to Paris, they take the heat from wastewater, and they use this heat through exchangers to warm up a swimming pool in the city. And this is exactly the same process, whereby we take the heat from wastewater and we use it to warm up, make sure it is not minus 40. It's, I would say, temperature is close to 0, which is acceptable. And you see all those flowers here, which I was. And really, we have been focusing on really showing the French knowledge. Because in this tool, you have, I repeat again, 350 solutions from more than 100 companies, which was really the order from the French government to show all the French expertise on sustainable cities for all these 4 topics. So this is on trees. We have also, we are some sort of improving the existing buildings. We're taking the old buildings, we're covering the facades, so in order to reduce the waste of energy. But we've been trying to adapt to the existing conditions. Those 2 towers you see at the back also, they have been covered, and there is a greenhouse at the top, which is made feasible by the energy savings. And this is all buildings in Astana, which we have renewed with balconies and which enable to save energy, to reduce the waste. And what we had also maybe we see it later, when you're talking, for example, electric vehicles, one of the main issues is when it's too cold, the battery will not last long. And we have the new car by Renault, who is the electric vehicle, who is also able to withstand the minus 40 temperature in winter. Okay, this is the Zoe. And this is the car which is able to withstand minus 40 in winter, and will still be able to be used. So you will charge here your cars. So, and this tool now has been presented in many places. Basically, in various cities of Africa, it has been presented in Malaysia, in Singapore. It has been presented in Egypt. Egypt is aware of it. I was in Morocco with Mr. Fekel, who is a Secretary for Foreign Trade, to Mr. Fabius, and this has been presented as well. And again, it is a way, you can present that as a decision-making tool. It can be adapted to whichever environment, and now the process has been, it's become easier. You can adapt it to a district, to a city, to whichever the needs, according to what the territory is able to offer, you can adapt it. Of course, the person will have to spend some money to have this developed and adapt it for their own city. It's been presented as well in Mexico. In Mexico, for example, there's a partnership between France and Mexico on the city of Campeche in Yucatan. And each time this decision-making tool has been presented. It's in China as well. There are three partnerships between France and China on 3 cities, which are Chengdu, Shenyang, and Wuhan. Again, the same process has been presented. And it's raising a lot of interest from interested parties because, again, this is a way to decide what you want your city to become. There's also, some of you may have heard of, along the Suez Canal, the new Suez Canal, the authorities, they want to develop smart cities. And they want to have this tool to help them to make a decision, find out what can be the possibilities before they make up their own minds on what they will want to have. So that's the sustainable 3D demonstrator.
Okay, thank you very much, Catherine. And it just remains to me, my name's Andrew Davies from Reed Exhibitions, to introduce the final speaker of the day, which is Mr. Fabrice Cassani.
Hi, everybody. I'm trying to be quick. I'm going to present the work that we're doing in EDF, Research and Development, since 4 years now. So first, the context of cities, which you probably all know, so I'll be very fast on this. So urbanization is really high and higher and higher at this time, which brings more and more needs in infrastructure and thus capital expenditure. Environmental and climate change more and more at the top of cities' agendas, of course. Local energy systems are more and more developed because cities want to take their destiny in their hands, more on the energy level at least. Big data and open data becomes opportunities for new services. And at last, attractiveness has become a motor or an engine for cities' development. If you're an attractive city, you will attract talents, and talents will create new projects, more jobs, and then you become more attractive. So it's very important now for cities. No, that was the context for cities, but the citizens have changed also. Citizens need more and more data, and they also produce more and more data. These data produce more and more services. You see here congestion related to the mobiles, smartphones in the cars of the people. All this is a big challenge for the governance, for the decision-making people. You cannot continue the governance as it was done before. The new decision makers, they have really to change the relationship with the citizen. It's quite a challenge. So lots of challenges. I would like to talk about what we think about lots of challenges related to energy. So we think that urban planning is the key. I already had the chance to explain that in the previous presentation for energy efficiency, so I'll be a bit quicker. But just to say that the shape of your cities, the size of your streets, the structure of your buildings has enormous impact on the mobility. You see on the lower part of the graph, it's a very famous study which shows energy consumed by transportation according to the density of your city. So on the top left, you have cities which spread over their territories, for instance, in the US. And on the lower right corner, you have cities which are very dense, like in Asia, for instance. And you see that the energy consumed can go from 1 to 5 just because of the shape of your cities and the density. So we think that energy should be implemented from the very first steps of urban planning. So we have to think urban planning differently. Of course, we have new tools which enable that. Collaborative design has become very useful for that. So now we have tools which, like you saw just before from my colleagues, which shows that if you have lots of people around the table, and if they can have simulators, if they can see the impacts of their solutions, they can share together and find the best solution. Of course, there's not only impacts on energy. If you look at the 3 pillars of any city, which are attractiveness, economic development, quality of living, there are lots of topics which are related, like air quality, health impacts, urban heat islands, fuel poverty. All this is related to energy, so we really feel concerned about this. So we have put lots of energy these last years to really test our methodology and test our new processes. I'm going to present a few examples. So this is Singapore, on which we worked with the Housing and Development Board, Veolia and Dassault System. So the aim of the Housing and Development Board here was to be able, with a very simple tool, to design their new neighborhoods or to refurbish existing neighborhoods. So they have to deal with lots of things: air conditioning, lighting, local production of energy with photovoltaics or fuel cells. They wanted to install energy recovery lifts, green home package, that's incentive for the people to buy new equipments. Also greeneries, increase the landscaping, which has impact on water, waste issues, and transportation. If you look at the relationships between all these topics, you quickly realize that if you change something on one topic, you will have impact on the other topics. So we needed to build a simulator which takes this into account. So it comes with this decision support tool, which allows the city to navigate into the neighborhoods and test some solutions and then make simulations. I'd like to show quickly a video which shows the real tool that is not used by us. It is used by the Housing and Development Board. So they have a web access which allows them to test their scenarios and to launch simulations. So they can, of course, travel through the cities. They can look at some indicators that in their neighborhoods. Here, that could be the energy consumption, for instance, and to locate buildings which are the most interesting. Now they can implement initiatives like that's about lighting, for instance. They can decide to deploy LED lighting in all the buildings. They can decide to deploy photovoltaics on some roofs. They can choose the technology of the photovoltaics, of course. It's really lots of parameters that the user can change himself. It was part of what HDB wanted, because they really want to be autonomous. But they want to be able to build any kind of scenario. So greenery, of course, is part of the possibility. So there's more than 50 different parameters that they could change. And then in 3 minutes you have the result of a simulation, and you can decide which kind of KPIs, key performance indicator, you want to visualize. You can visualize it, of course, building by building, or you can decide to visualize it at the scale of a whole neighborhood. You could compare neighborhoods On the right-hand side, you can compare scenarios. You can see the reduction of energy consumption, for instance, according to different scenarios. And you can see also the cost, the cost for investment, of course, and also for operating. Some features were necessary to compare scenarios because you cannot compare CO2 and employment, for instance. So these are different criteria, and you need to visualize them to really decide which scenario is the best. So we worked a lot on the graphic user interface to allow these comparisons. And last but not least, this interface allows the user to load a new city in about 20 minutes to start a new study. So that's the process, accelerated, of course. Here you've got a new neighborhood. Well, that's just for the sake of it. There you are. I'm going through this. So thanks to this kind of tools, they were able to design a scenario in which they could save about 30% of CO2 and 12% of energy. Was not allowed to show any financial data, but they were, of course, accessible. Another example, very quickly, is Lingang. Lingang is a city 70 kilometers from Shanghai. In this place, so we participated to a contest, architecture contest, which was something very interesting for us because we know only energy. So the interesting thing is that this contest was about 42 square kilometers. We had to focus and show solutions on 1 square kilometers. And for the first time in our experience, we worked very closely with urbanists and architects in order to feed the project with energy concepts. Here is the demand of energy during time. This is the demand of energy in space. And this kind of information was very useful for urbanists in order to shape the city. We ended up with a very original solution. And we won this contest, of course, because the solution was really integrated between urban planning and energy. This allowed to reduce the CO2 by 50%, reduce peak load by 50% also regarding load curves due to air conditioning, and to reduce the price of energy for the cooling and the heating by 10%. Air quality, of course, is something very important, and we integrate it into our platform because when you want to produce energy locally, you often come to produce some particles and pollutants. So we developed some simulation related to local energy production. You can see here the impacts. I'm sorry. You can see the impact of local heating units. This allowed the city to better plan the place where they want to put new buildings and to avoid exposing children or elderlies or any people in places where we know that there is going to be some pollution. Berlin is the last example. I like it because we had to work on the multi-energy question. So there's a question of gas, heat, electricity, renewable, storage. Everything came together to make very, very complex scenarios. So we estimated the demand loads, of course. We estimated the renewable resources. and we designed an energy system. Of course, all this with our principles of collaborative design and with simulators to support this collaborative design. Short conclusion, city decision makers really are facing more and more complexity in their projects. Big data and participative governance are opportunities, and new modeling capacities open collaboration between public and private stakeholders, and we offer new methods for an agile and collaborative design process. Thank you for those who stayed.
Thank you, Fabrice. Okay, that brings an end to the day. I'm sure the speakers that are here, for those of you who want to ask questions, would happily do so in a more informal and relaxed environment. So just remains to say thanks very much for staying with us to the end, and hope you enjoyed the day. Thank you.